All right, guys. So on this one, we'll talk about moderating quizzes as your students are taking them, as well as kind of going over the final results, stuff like that. So first off, right off the bat, uh, I'm going to use just kind of a fake test here that I had created, um, just to kind of show you guys what it's doing. When your students are taking a test, this information will be active. Current time, sometimes you do got to refresh the page just to make sure it's actually current. But for the most part, it's pretty close. But as your students are taking the quiz, you can go to moderate this quiz. Obviously, I don't have any students taking a quiz right now, but if they were, instead of saying finished here, it may show has 10 minutes left or has 2 minutes left, anything like that. If you want to give a student more time for any reason, you can just click on this little pencil right here. Extra time on every attempt or extra attempts. You can give them one extra attempt on the whole test if they failed it, or you can give them an extra, I don't know, 10 minutes, whatever it may be. Anything like that. Pretty simple stuff here. You can see when the students are done, it'll populate the score that they got, tell you how many attempts they've taken on it, things like that. That's while they're taking the quiz. So once they're done with the quiz, you can back out of this, go into quiz statistics, and you can kind of view class average, high score, stuff like that. I usually actually use this as my test review with my students, so that way I can kind of show them what the average was, stuff like that. We can go over each test question one by one. That way, if any of them have questions or want to dispute it, because sometimes those test banks aren't right, anything like that, you can. A lot of the time, what I'll do is I'll just read through the questions, have the students answer them. The big thing I'm watching is kind of the percentage of amount who got correct. This discrimination index will kind of show up if the same people are missing the same questions every time. So maybe you didn't get one group in a certain training, something like that. It'll let you know. But if so, how many got right? If you want, you can click on these tabs. It'll show you which students actually answered which area. Scroll through. I'd say most of the time I'm looking at this, I'm looking for this number to be extremely low, the number who got it right. A lot of the times if I get a low percentage, that might say something about how maybe I presented it in the classroom in a lecture or something like that. A lot of the time we'll go a lot more in depth. I'll kind of re-explain those questions, what the answer is, why the answer is that way. And then a lot of the time I personally will ask a follow-up question to get that point back. If they, I don't know, 50% of the class missed the question, then I'll review exactly what's going on, how it works, what the answer is, why the answer is right, things like that. And then at the end of that review, then I will ask them a question concerning the exact same process or system or whatever the question's about, and they'll turn in an answer on a piece of paper or whatever. And they have a chance to get that right, get that point back on their test. That's not necessary. I don't even do that for all my low questions. So like this one's fairly low. But if I know for a fact I've covered this 1,000 times in my class and I said, hey guys, remember this, you're going to need it for the test, and I still get a low number like that, I usually won't give them a second chance at it. We'll still talk about it in depth, but they just don't get another chance. But go through this with all your students, and that's about it.